Hello, hello, hello. Hello, hello, hello. So, after a very, very long time away, I'm back with another train sim stream. Not really important why I didn't do this for a while. And we're going to have a look at the new Rhein-Ruhr Osten stuff. So, let's just jump straight in. I've already made sure that I've sat through the tutorial gubbins on this route. So, just before we jump in, you'll see lots of trains available here. If you only have this route and the original Train Sim World, these two here, the 185.5 MRCE and the 442, are the only ones you'll have. The rest of the trains that you see here are because I've got the various add-ons and things installed as well. So if you do have, for instance, Ruhr Signords, you will also get the 143 and the 1852. If you have main Spessart Bahn, you will also get the 146, and if you have bought them for the for Rapid Transit and for Ruhrsig, you'll also have the 182 and the 155. Everything you see here is for freight operations, except from the 146, which you can run express services along the main line here, and the 442 obviously. Some reason the Dosto cab cars are not drivable at the other end of the 146, but not to worry. So what I think we'll start with is we'll have a look at the 442 first. We'll just leave it as a nice spring day, I think, for the first run. I've played this on my main account. This is the first time I'm playing it on the streaming account. So let me think how I want to do this. We'll go from Hagen to begin with out to Wuppertal, and then we'll come back on a Regiobahn, and then we'll take a freight train the other way to round off with. It's a very short route, this, actually. That one should do. But as you can see from the map, there's actually two sections to it for a good length of it. So although it is a fairly short one, there is still a fair amount of mileage in there. This map is wrong, incidentally. The S-Bahn services take that slightly northern greyed out route. That's something that they're going to address in a patch, apparently. So let's just jump straight on in. And Peninsula corridor is actually quite good as well. I do have that too. Have a look at that another time. People probably more interested in the newest route. I haven't played LIRR in a long while either. The lovely new 2020 splash screen, quite like that one. Okay, so pop the key in, stick the reverser into neutral. Oh, we'll get lots of these things flashing up saying, congratulations, you did a thing for the first time. Let's just make sure the train information board is set correctly. So we're going to, I think we're starting at Hagen, aren't we? Are we starting at Hagen? Let's have a quick look. I can't remember. Literally just started it. Yes, we're starting at Hagen, so we're going to oh, balls, made a mess of this. See what that brings back through. Where's my heads up display gone? Ah! Okay, so this is all set up for... that's better. Let me just flick a few settings over, because this is changes them all whenever you load the game for the first time after installing a pack, and it puts all the markers on that I don't like, turns off all the ones that I do like, and it's frankly a bit of a pain in the backside. So that's fine, don't want that, don't want that. Need it set to that. Let's apply the changes, and I tell you what, we'll just we'll take a quick do-over on this, I think. So when you spawn into the passenger service, you've got about a minute and a half to do your setup. It's really all quite straightforward in this this locomotive, this train rather. You see the little cable car thing, the monorail thing in the background. I don't know what that's actually called, that type of railway. Runs parallel to the main line for 5 or 6 kilometres at the Wuppertal end. But you can't drive it, unfortunately. Never mind. Right, take two. So, just wait for the textures to spawn in. Pop the reverser key in first of all. And set the lights, front lights. Oh, wrong doors. Oh, God damn it. Done this 100 times, well, not 100 times, I've done it a few times. And first time I do it on stream, and I make a total mess of it all. Whole train. You can actually, you probably can't see them very clearly on the wee streamy screen, but you can read them well enough on the display to be able to see what you're setting. So there we go, boards are set. Wait till 9:21:30, so that gives me about half a minute to find the click spots, PZB on, pop some CIFA on. Lights are already set. I'll give ourselves a cab dimmer. Just bring the privacy blinds down. Absolutely no practical reason to do so, but I do it anyway. And let's get the doors closed up. So we're ready to go on time. So that's us more or less ready, and reverser forward. I think I've remembered everything, I'll soon find out if I haven't. Punchy little thing this, so. Hey Stephen, good to see you, man. Yeah, I took a bit of a break from the game after they thoroughly broke it with a patch, and then released a really crap add-on for it with the SWR 1000, but yeah, I'm back. Maybe not quite as intensively as I was before, but I am back. It's good to see you still around, man. And we'll catch you sometime soon. I actually specifically took a day off work to play with this after it came out yesterday. So, for anybody who has played Ruhr Signored, this is us continuing out beyond Hagen. If you've come from Finnentrop, this is the direction you'd be facing. Maybe don't need those on high beam at this time of the day. Let's turn this down. Very stoppy starty, the S-Bahn. Generally not much distance between stations. This is one of the trickier ones to get right as well because it's on a really steep gradient. Okay, let's see how close we are. Yeah, we're still well on. You don't always have a lot of room at the back though. These platforms, when you're driving the double unit like this, you've actually only got about 15-20 metres to play with. Less on some platforms, so accuracy is key. I'll tell you what I haven't turned on, is I've not turned on the passenger lights. So there we go. Just give it full beams to get underway, but remembering that we did stop under a PZB monitoring, so we'll be setting off under one. It's a bit tricky being exactly on time on this route, but you can usually be within a minute or so, and I think it still allows you to be sort of up to 2 or 3 minutes late and will count you as being on time. Right, so we can pick it up a little bit. 1000 Hertz monitoring, of course, 85 kilometers an hour, but ready to respond if we need to. So there it's gone into unrestricted monitoring. I don't think this one needs a response, but I'm a little rusty, so I'll probably respond to a lot of things I don't need to. And coming down the hill now. If you arrive on the end of the platform around 60 kilometers an hour, you've got plenty of time to stop, generally speaking, apart from 1 or 2 that are on steep gradients where you need to make an allowance for the slope and gravity and stuff. So there we go, we're back on schedule now already. Let's have a little let's jump to the free camera, have a little quick look at the unit. So they're quite nice looking trains. I really like the look of these things. Long unit as well, considering how long it is, it really goes. It's very sporty. I wonder if I can get the camera inside. So if I get the camera inside, you can see all the way down the unit to the very end. There's no sections interlocking between them. They broke TransPennine a couple of patches ago, and the game would crash 99 times out of 100 when you were anywhere near Miles Platting, which essentially ruined the whole route. And that pissed me off quite a lot. And then I bought the, as I said, the cab car and the shunter thing, and it was, you could only use the cab car on a really short section of the track, and the shunter was just not enough on its own to salvage that add-on, and I just felt like I might as well have thrown that £12 down a drain or something. I also, about a week after that, bought a Nintendo Switch, and my PlayStation has barely been on since. I did come back when they brought out the 2020 update, because that did fix the problem with with TransPennine, and I did play the California Dreamliner thing as well, only to discover when I started getting into it that my headset didn't work anymore. So for a multitude of reasons, the channel went very, very quiet for a long time. But my intention is to resurrect it to a degree, possibly not to the same intensity as it was earlier in the year, but I'll keep popping on from time to time. I actually did really enjoy the California thing as well. I'll do something on that at some point. So off we go. We're not under PZB monitoring, so we can get more or less straight up to speed here. Lucky Trains, welcome, hello. Welcome to the stream. I expect many things to go wrong because I am quite rusty with a lot of this stuff. So 2 kilometres is one of the longer distances between stations here. No worries, Stephen. I'm not a total stranger to sneakily having something on my phone screen during office hours. So we're not too bad for time. We'll just manage the speed as we approach. So you don't need to acknowledge that signpost. There's not a magnet, a PZB magnet on the line there. There we go. Decent amount of traffic on the line, especially if you have some of the other German add-ons. We'll just close the doors now. Because the why is my brightness so low? Oh, that's all strange. Right, we'll just leave it on night time, I think. That's weird. Ah, no worries, mate. I'm Scottish, so my English is pretty crap as well. Everyone's welcome here, my man. So we'll straight on up to line speed, but aware of the 90 kilometre coming up ahead. So in fact we'll just wind it back a bit now. There's really nothing to be gained from banging it up to 100 and then back down. Slight uphill, so we'll just leave a little bit of power on. I think that's par for the course with a lot of their stuff. The train models themselves, they're passable, but I think a lot of them are not. You couldn't learn how to drive a train with them, that's for sure. The procedural stuff maybe, but not the actual the feel of it. Where's my cursor gone? There we go. Love a bit of PZB, I do. Absolutely love the PZB. Makes it far more interesting. Also handy when I occasionally fall asleep at the controls late at night. Okay, so it's just very quick stop and go type things going on here, unless you arrive a little early. That's the fella. I know what it means, I just can't pronounce it. Right, so again, just straight on up to line speed. Good distance to the next signal as well. In fact, I don't think we see one before we reach Gevelsberg. Just a little bit of power to act against the uphill gradient. Now, one word of warning about Zifa is that if you decide to just go down the other end and drive the train back at the end, Zifa still does not behave properly when there are end swaps or multiple locomotives involved. Zusi, I assume Zusi is a PC game. Would that be right? Oh, way too early slowing down there. What am I doing? What am I doing? PC, yeah. I have to admit, I am giving serious consideration to jumping over to PC at the end of this generation. I haven't completely decided yet, but there's a fair chance I might just give the PlayStation 5 a body swerve altogether. There we go. And more or less on time again. This thing's more or less completely dead still. This thing has a bit more functionality though. It does have the FIS screen available, which is kind of cool. Although it is a lot more fiddly than the destination boards on the other trains where you can do it with just 2 button presses. But they do give you a little extra time at the start to do all that kind of thing if you want to. Right, I'm just going to put the boot down. This magnet might be active for the 80. Oh, it's not. That's fine. If in doubt, just press the button. Yeah, the lighting's always been a bit funny, especially on the console. And I think most of the lighting issues are simply because they have to keep everything at a level that the console can run it as well. And I am a console player, but I'm under no illusion that we hold back the PC games to a degree. It's, I think it's probably just also a combination of that and a fairly small developer not able to wring the most out of the Unreal Engine. That said, they are getting much better at it. Every time they release a new piece of content, they seem to have made little improvements here and there. So maybe when they move over to PS5 and at some point in the future, they'll be able to fix a lot of these things as well. I'm assuming that's the road they're going to go down anyway. So we're actually running more or less to timetable. Monitoring would be the closest word. Yeah, that magnet back there is sometimes on and it's sometimes not. It was on when I drove. There's a scenario where you bring a freight train down the S-Bahn line and the magnet was active then. I always acknowledge it just in case. A little bit too sharp on the brakes here again, but I think this is one of these platforms that is almost exactly the length of a 2-unit set. So you kind of have to be really accurate with it. And I might be actually hanging off the back a little still. It should be okay. Let's just get it stopped. Yeah, we're just on platform. So you see what I mean? There's really not a lot of room to play with there. Yes, so far I do really enjoy this. I always generally really enjoy the German routes because the trains are much more engaging and much more interesting to drive because of mainly because of the PZB, things like AFB and what have you. So yep, very happy with it. I can see I'll probably spend quite a lot of time with this. Definitely always get my money's worth from them, that's for sure. Hey Spurs Reading, good to see you, man. Long time no see. I'm very well, thank you. I took a short hiatus from Train Sim World for a while, but we're back in business. I don't know the 425. The only German trains that I really do know are the ones that Dovetail have given us so far. Oh. But I can get away with cruising through here at around 60 because the signal's a wee bit down yet. Nice brightly lit tunnel, I like this tunnel. Stark contrast to the Standage tunnel. 3.5 miles of pitch black. Points up ahead, I think. Okay, Blackie Trains, good to meet you, man. Welcome back anytime. Have a good day, whatever you're up to. So once we're across the points here, just wait for the back of the train to clear it, and then we'll boot it down to Schwelm. I call the little extra detail that's starting to appear. Whoa, too fast. Things like the overgrown bits of track and the plants sticking up through the rails and things like that. It's just all these little things. They seem to add more and more of this kind of thing to every pack that they bring out. This is another one that can be a bit of a tricky one to make sure that you stop in time for. And this is where the S-Bahn meets the rejoins the main line. Yep. 146 over to the right there. Again, if you have main Spessartbahn, it'll add a layer of traffic in with the 146. And you can drive it as well, which we'll do for the next one. Fairly short runs these, because it's only about a 20-22 kilometre line. Slightly more track miles to go down the S-Bahn, I think, because it weaves around a little. Yeah, the suspension really would have been kind of cool. Somebody did ask about that on the launch stream the other night, and the answer was it would have been too complicated, because they would have had to basically rewrite a lot of the underlying systems to enable that. slightly overcooked this? No, we're fine. Like I said before, if you got it down to 60 by the time 60 kilometers by the time you enter the platform, you shouldn't have a problem stopping it on time. I've not actually cycled through all the different views yet. Aye, so as usual, most of them you'll never really use. Screen one's a handy view to pop into to set the FIS board sometimes if you're having trouble seeing it. Okay, so there's only a couple of more stops to do. Then what we'll do is we'll take a regional band service along the main line back to Hagen, and then I will bring a freight train from Hagen back to Wuppertal, because there's a really unusual signalling setup on the way out of Hagen that will catch you if you're using PZB the first time. Or rather, it will catch you if you're using PZB and didn't bother to read the manual. Because there's a new type of signal introduced with this this pack. So let's just get ready to respond to this signal. We're about to be overtaken by an express as well. I think this is so cool. So there we go, I was at 60 coming on, and you can see when I had the full brakes on I would have actually stopped short. So it's one of the quickest stopping trains that I think I've played with in this. Wasn't really paying attention to my on stand time, so I'm not sure if we've got a few seconds to play with or not. Again, because we're under 1000 Hz monitoring, just need to be mindful of that, because we will be leaving under 1000 Hz. So 45 kilometers an hour to begin with. Diesel shunter would be kind of cool. This whole stretch of the Ruhr Nord that you cannot currently go down, and I've noticed even along here that the freight yards are full of those little sort of diamond shaped signposts that warn you there's no catenary off that line. So a diesel shunter, yes, it's long overdue, I feel. Yeah. Oh shit! Ah. I was looking at the chat window and touched 45 kilometers an hour, and PZB went, no you don't. Recovery time incredibly quick on this unit though, so not to worry. What a good job that not enough people are interested in train sim for me to monetize this, because that would be a loss right there. Right. So now the PZB is definitely off. We can pick it up to 50 kilometers an hour because that's what we're about to pass into anyway. And yeah, we're only going to be a tiny little bit late. Bit of artifacting or whatever you call it goes on this screen. Mildly irritating, but to be honest, I look at that screen so rarely. It's not a new type of system, it is simply a new signal type that's part of the HV signal. It's part of the standard German signaling. It's just one that's never cropped up before in any of the previous routes, and it's a funny one that you have to, it's a signpost you have to remember to stop at and contact the signal box, otherwise it'll give you a PZB stop. I didn't know what the hell it was the first time because there's no lights or anything on that track to tell you. It's a quick bit of wikiing. If you haven't used it before, the Wikipedia page on German railway signalling is basically where I learned everything I know about it from. It is very comprehensive and covers almost everything you could think of. So, Wuppertal-Barmen is, I think, the second or third from last stop on this route. Hey! Something else I pressed for the first time. As I said, do apologise, there'll be lots of those annoying messages popped up because I do all my practicing on my my main account. The only thing that I've really done, that I did before starting this, was to make sure I cleared the mandatory tutorial thing it tries to make you do. Probably a little bit early on the brakes here, so yeah, I am running a little bit late now because of that PZB stop, but right, I've now made a total horse's arse of this because that was far too early. Thing is, I practice on my main account and I probably think I'm more ready than I actually am because I'm not trying to talk while I'm driving on the main account. So I'll be ready for it this time. Also, losing 5 or 10 seconds at every stop because I'm not ready just to lock up and go, that does add up over time. Every 6 stations, that's a minute lost to the faffing about if I'm not totally ready. Traffic's good. However, there is a caveat there. My traffic's absolutely incredible because I've got all the other German routes and I bought all the add-ons for them, and that adds extra layers of traffic in. So I do not know what it's like if you just have the original Train Sim World and this. If you've got Ruhr-Sig, it adds in the 143, is it? You know, the one that pulls the passenger trains on Ruhr-Sig. If you have the 155, that can appear and you can use that. If you have main Spessart ban, it adds the what do you call it, the 146 that we just saw. And if you bought the 182 for rapid transit, that's also usable. And as I said, these add extra layers of traffic into the... Oh, holy pop-up. That I've not seen before. Adds extra layers in, so it can be very busy, especially around Hagen and around Wuppertal. When you're out on the S-Bahn, you might pass one train going the other way, or two trains going the other way on your travels. And the main line, I don't actually know, to be honest with you, because I think unless you've got at least main Spessart ban, it's just freight stuff that goes down there. That said, if you've got 2020, then you've got main Spessart ban, and I suspect a lot of people have it anyway because it is one of the better routes. So the very short version of that long-winded blowbag answer I just gave you is, it's good if you've got loads of add-ons. Other than that, I don't actually know. Yeah, we should have been out of here a minute ago. Right, this is the last stop, is Wuppertal HBF. Don't know what HBF stands for. I should by now, because every second station's called HBF. Can't remember if this 90 needs acknowledging or not, so we'll just give it a bang anyway. Yeah. So 85 kilometers per hour maximum, but we're not heading into 60. I think that might need a second acknowledgement. Yes, it does. If in doubt and you see a magnet, acknowledge it. That one didn't need it, but it's warning us that in fact it's 50 from the next signal, and the white light's of course reminding us that it's less than the standard kilometre away. So, here we go. Don't think any of those actually need a PZB. So you see there's a couple of train ahead of us leaving. There's a couple of trains parked up in the station. So yeah, traffic levels are actually pretty good. Let's just roll it up to the end here. To make sure I'm all the way on. Oh, that could be cutting it fine. Let's have a look down the back. Ah, we're on. Comfortably on. I think this platform is long enough to accommodate an ICE, so more than long enough for what we're using it for. Peninsula corridor, yes I have. I'll do something on that as well at some point. I actually quite like it. It's I was in two minds when I was buying it, because oh no, there's another platform, another station to go. I thought that was the last station. I was in two minds about it because the last American thing I bought was that crap awful cab car. What the fuck? Oh, I didn't acknowledge the yellow signal. Tits. Too busy talking. Ah well. Nice quick easy recovery though. You don't have to sit around for ages. Yeah, I was in two minds when I was buying it, for the reasons stated above. Long Island Railroad I felt was a bit light on content as well. I mean, the having all those different destinations was kind of cool, but one type of train, and less said about Northeast Corridor the better, because that still sucks giant donkey dongs. But I took a punt and actually quite enjoy it. It's there's no safety systems, they've abandoned that. I presume they still can't get access and ATC to talk to each other properly, so they just haven't bothered. To be honest, it's better for it. And having gone to that off the back of spending so much time on TransPennine, where there's not much in the way of safety gear either, it didn't really bother me that much. And the route itself is interesting enough that I felt like I wasn't really missing much for not having those extra wee things on board. So yeah, Peninsula Corridor, pretty good actually. Definitely the best American one they've released so far, but I have a feeling they might have realised that they had not delivered up to their usual standard on previous attempts. So they made sure, I think, that it was as polished as it could be. I think this is actually the last stop. Yeah, there we go. Right, so it's 28 track mile kilometres, which is not that long, but still a 45-minute trip. This next one will be considerably quicker than that. So let's just jump back to the main menu. I'll take the opportunity to make myself a quick cigarette while this is going on. Don't smoke, kids, bad for you. It's not big and it's not cool. Timetable. So here's all the stuff you can drive if you've already bought them. Some reason you cannot drive the cab cars, the Dostal cab cars. Let's make it a drizzly autumn day. There's something a wee bit different. And we want to go to Hagen. So we'll take, maybe not the first one. I don't want it to be too dark. Because I don't know how well that always translates to the stream. Being as it's only something like 700p or something silly like that that the PlayStation streams at. Right, that one should be alright. I've never remembered to press the button, yeah. So yeah, you can see from the splash screen there's plenty of stations, and there's a nice mix of services on that line. There's the ones that are, you know, the express services. They only stop at 4 or 5 stations. You've got the all station stops, and then you've got the sort of an in-between kind of level of service that does more than the express but less than the all stations. Oh, and freight trains. Not a huge amount of freight activity on it, but enough to keep you happy if for a little while if that's your jam. And it's the big long things, big massive loud noisy things. They're cool. Okay, so let's just get the doors open. And again, you've got about a minute and a half to do your cab setup. Power on, and there we go. Self sets itself to Hagen. And we just need to nip under the desk for a second.
AFB, AFB, AFB.
Make sure it's in. It should be in PZB. Should be in Modo by default. Let's put the wipers on. So we've got about 45 seconds still to wait. Make sure we remember to put the passenger lights on. Quick brake test. We'll just, I don't know if you're supposed to set your thing that early. Oh, in fact, I tell you what, I forgot to turn the PZB on, didn't I? Ah! PZB, safer. Lights. Camera. Action. Or something. Hey, world's fastest cab setup. Right, let's get going. This is where I'll remember I've not done something. Yeah, it would have been cool if they could have linked the routes, but I do understand why they can't do it for now. And I don't think they're ruling out doing it at some point in the future, maybe. I would like to see a signal before a self-release. Oh no, it's released itself anyway, that's fine. Okay, let's just pick the pace up now. The main line is much faster than the S-Bahn, and we're not going to be stopping at every single station either. Yep, still here, man. My plan for this stream was to do a one passenger service in each direction, once along the S-Bahn, once along the main line, and then come back along the main line in a freight train. This is actually quite a quick, oh, I'm not nearly as on top of this as I should be. My timekeeping might be a bit rubbish because I've not actually driven a 146 very much recently. Oh, I don't think I'm anywhere near on platform yet, am I? There we are.
Zugbeeinflussung.
I did unlock the doors. Right. I didn't even notice the 33 was gone. I do actually have that. I didn't buy the other one, the big maroon one. Simply on the grounds that I never ever drive West Somerset really. Let's get going. Ah, don't worry about it, Stephen. I'm perfectly capable of cocking up without anybody else's help anyway. So, as I've said before, I make the mistake so you don't have to. Hey, Chris, welcome, man. Thank you. Good to see you. Yeah, took a bit of a break. Back in business now. Right, unless I've missed anything, there's no reason not to just boot it now.
SIFA, Zugbeeinflussung.
Ooh, I see yellow in my future.
Zugbeeinflussung.
So we've got an expect stop, so I'm going to bring it all the way down to 40. I think the next main signal's actually beyond the platform anyway. There's the cable car off to the left there, the
Zugbeeinflussung.
whatchamacallit thing. Can't remember what it's called. Actually, it runs for a fair distance alongside the line. How am I doing for time? 9:10. Oh, we're well on time. All right, Spurs Reading. Good to see you too, man. Thanks very much. Enjoy the rest of your day, and yeah, definitely see you again. Let's bring this to a halt. There we go. Right, so I've got a wee bit of time. Let's see if we can see. Oh, there's two of them. Ah! Right, let's get some free camera action going. Where is it? Over there. Oh, they don't stop at their little stations. Ah, that kind of ruins the... Blimey, how many of them are there? There must just be like a constant little carousel, conveyor belt, sorry, thing of them. It kind of doesn't look so impressive when you come and look up close, does it? I'll just pretend that never happened. Oh, bus as well. I wonder if that gets underway or just sits there. There goes the S-Bahn train. It's just along here that the lines diverge, I think. Let's lock the doors now. Just being mindful that we stopped under 500 Hz monitoring. We need to just crawl out of here. And that should clear itself when we pass the 2000 Hz magnet. There we go. Oh, no, 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 don't. Shit. Did not notice that I still had for some reason I still had a PZB warning on the main display there. I don't know if that was a bug or what, because I can't think what would actually have triggered that. This train you don't want to get a PZB stop on because you need to go through a little bit more faffing about to get it going again. Not that much more, but it's definitely not as quick to recover as the 422 was. Schwelm is where the S-Bahn splits. See ya! If you take the 6, it's either the 6 or the 7 o'clock in the morning service out of here with the 146, there's actually about 3 trains trying to leave at the same time, and you end up all queuing up at the signal. It's cool. Fairly steep-ish uphill, not enough to really cause you problems, but your acceleration is going to be a little bit slower. You notice it more in the freight trains than you do driving the passenger stuff. Always remember, close and reopen the throttle again, otherwise it won't pick up when the brakes come off. We're going to arrive more or less on time, but it's one of those things, as always, you know, signals happen, bugger all you can do about it. And I think it still gives you that sort of 2.5, 3 minute grace period to get on stand. Forgot to set my doors. Never mind. Normally try and remember to do that on the approach in once I see what side it's on, if I don't know already. So that little tunnel down to the right hand side there, that's where the S-Bahn trains go. And at this point we'll be going off down the main line. Just remember, even though it's a green signal, we need to be going slowly because we stopped under 500 Hz monitoring. Well, my PS4 is really loud anyway, mate. Mine's is it's basically a launch day one, so I don't really notice a difference. I'm just going to ease it up to begin with in case I get that mystery thing pop up again, but it looks like we're okay. Don't know what's in that tunnel down to the left there, never been down there. Heading into a slightly reduced speed section of line. The run from there's a station, maybe one more to go, and then we get this big high-speed run all the way out to Hagen, where we will be doing about 150 at one point. So the main line is fast.
SIFA, Zugbeeinflussung.
Kilometre and a half to go, so start getting ready to slow down. Oh, we've got a signal anyway. We'll just make sure that we're well inside the 500 Hz magnet restriction as well, and then just let AFB do the rest at this point. Hey Samson, welcome to the stream. Good to see you, man. Playing around with the newest route for the sim. So the distance the distance signal is telling me expect stop, so the main is probably still going to be red. I think it can actually be at yellow, even if the distance at yellow. Go. forgot to set the doors again, but that's okay. We're more or less on time, that's cool. Oh yes, it's me. Good to know, man. It's always nice to hear somebody got something from me sitting talking to myself about trains. Glad you found something useful in them. So, short stops on the express line as well as on the S-Bahn. There's none of this sitting around for ages waiting on the just remember to turn that down. Oh, was that too sharp off the mark with the throttle there? Remember, if you don't close it all the way and open it again, it won't engage. Safety and all that. And then 20 kilometres to the 2000 hertz. Wait for the 500 to pop off and fill your boots. Next stop, Hagen. So this is going to be a fast run all the way out. So PZB's cleared itself. We will hopefully just be riding greens all the way. He said as some yellow appears around the corner somewhere. No, that's a signpost. Ha! Could be time for train guy to go to Specsavers, I think. Paul Berger 107, hello, welcome to the stream. Not a name I remember. It's always good to see new people. Nice to see new folk having a look to see what we're doing here. Mostly me talking to myself and not noticing signals and stuff like that and making all sorts of mistakes. So there we go. We're on to the quicker stretchy line now. We'll just ramp that up some. Swing that camera around a bit. And I think we just passed the speed limit sign again, didn't we? Yeah. Right, full beans. Let's just give it all it's got. Seems to be juddering just a little bit. I think that was maybe just because I've got the rain turned on. It didn't do that. Doesn't do that under clear skies. Oh, there we go. Another. I have driven more than 146 kilometres on this route. Just as I said earlier, not on this account. And I don't know a way to switch those off, unfortunately. Oh, the track. Okay. No track for a moment there. That was slightly disconcerting. In fact, we'll give ourselves a 5k cushion. 145, that's because of the slope. Now, I don't remember which of the speed limit reductions along this stretch do need a PZB acknowledgement and which ones don't. In theory, none of them should if the the new speed is 100 or more, but we'll acknowledge them all anyway, just to be on the safe side. So that's the signal telling us get ready to slow down, and we'll give it some brakes as well because we are going down a fairly steep hill. To be honest, when they launched TS 2020, I think they had some more pressing concerns in the menus because they'd completely broken quite a few things with previous updates. So there's a expect reduced speed ahead, so we'll just get ourselves slowed down some. Yeah, I'm the same, Samson. There's literally one thing that I don't own, and it's an engine for the West Somerset. And yes, my friends all think I am completely bonkers for the amount of time I spend sitting pretending I'm a train driver. So we're going to have to do a bit more slowing down as well. Oh, why have I got a 500 hertz? What the hell's that for? Ah, right. All good, caught it in time. I mustn't have seen the distance signal telling me 30. Presumably that 500 hertz monitoring is being used to enforce the 30 kilometre an hour speed limit. I don't pretend to fully understand every nuance of the German signalling system. I just know when it's time to go, oh shit, and hit the brakes. Hey Charlie, welcome, good to see you, my friend. We're having a play about with the new DLC. I'm planning one more run after this one, this time in a freight train out of Hagen. Just to have a look at the slightly odd new arrangements with the signals for anybody using PZB. There is a booby trap. While this is raining. I did deliberately turn the rain on for this one, but yeah, they like to show off their weather effects a lot, don't they, in the scenarios and things. We'll do the next one on a nice sunny day. Okay, so I think we just need to wait for the train to empty out. There's a 442 arriving over on one of the other platforms. And we do have to lock them up, right? I can never remember if it makes you lock them up. Some DLCs it makes you do extra things at the end, others it's just happy for you to open the doors. Okay, so that was a bit shorter, that one. It's actually it's slightly more track kilometres than the S-Bahn. So yeah, a little under half an hour to do the high speed runs along there. And the last thing that we'll do, I've got my fingers crossed that this works, because I've noticed lately the game seems to crash if you do too many in a row. And I don't know if it's just because I've got a really old knackered PlayStation, or whether it's the game. Right, so last one of this stream. So we'll use this is the 185 that comes with the DLC. No difference that I can see really from the 185.2, other than it's got a different colour scheme on it. Interior wise and handling wise, it's exactly the same. I will leave it as a clear day. And we want to go from Hagen to Wuppertal. So no, that's going the wrong way. Aye, that one will do. Yeah, that as well. It does rain a lot, although it's quite a nice day up here at the moment. It's very windy, but dry, which is always a bonus in October. So this will start us off at the western end of the Hagen rail yards, or the southern end, probably more accurately, of the Hagen rail yard, which is on the Finnentrop side of Hagen, not the Wuppertal side of Hagen. So familiar to anybody who's played Ruhr-Signord. Oh hell, the game crashed.